Hello, everyone. This is Toni Weel from Florida. Sunny but cold Florida, so perfect weather. I've been here now for this month. It's going to be 21 years, and I think I am pretty much a Floridian now. Getting used to the hot weather, don't mind it at all. And the cold, it's like, oh my gosh, even if it's in the 70s, I'm cold.
Oh,
But oh well, maybe the hormones.
yep.
Yeah, we have with us, I need to say that first. My gosh, I need to introduce my beautiful team that we have here. It's Katie Meert, and Sara from Virtuous Unicorns, and Gary, parents. So the reason that I wanted to talk about hormones is because I hear of so many people who are using hormone replacements and the pill, of course, but also bioidentical hormones. And Dr. Morse has something really interesting to say about that. So I will find that video so we can actually play it here on the podcast. It's quite interesting. But it is then I started to do some research and I came across a blog. It's actually on what is it? The blog from the website from Western Botanicals, drmorses.com. And it was about the endocrine system. And when I started reading all this, and it's like, yeah, see, I still have a lot to learn. So we are going to dive into that today. I will do a screen share and I have made it as a PDF. So whoever is interested in the PDF and actually with the link to that blog where you can even read more about it. So the first section about the endocrine system, it is nestled within our bodies. Nestled within our body is an intricate network of glands that house our hormones and play a crucial role in maintaining harmony and balance. This network of hormone secreting glands is known as the endocrine or hormone system, and its influence on our well-being is held in a delicate balance of feedback loops, cascades, and body system inputs. Endocrine system function may not be on your radar. This system, as important as it is, does not get as much attention as immunity, digestion, or respiration. This is because imbalances within the system are not as easily recognizable, and they tend to creep up on us unless, of course, you happen to be raising a teenager. Besides puberty, menopause, and PMS, I know all about PMS, it is not often that we can feel our hormones raging. Hormones act more slowly than neurotransmitters, giving us more time to acclimatize. Oh boy, acclimatize. To change over time. Sorry, guys. Issues with the system can often be fake and difficult to divine. The endocrine system is a network of glands. Oh, didn't we have all that? Yeah, that secrete hormones into the bloodstream. Okay, this was new. This chemical messaging system orchestrates crucial functions such as metabolism, growth and development, and reproduction. There are many factors that can throw the endocrine system and our hormones out of balance. Increased cortisol, a stress hormone, is a major contributor, as well as diet, environmental toxins, medication, sleep quality, life stages, and genetics. Imbalance in steroid hormones such as testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone can lead to irregular periods, mood swings, low energy, or reduced sex drive. Thyroid imbalances can cause fatigue, weight, and mood fluctuations, and difficulty sleeping. Pancreatic imbalances show up as fluctuations in glucose levels and insulin sensitivity. We know how hormone imbalances can be, and we want to give you the tools to need to better understand how this complex system works. We hear a lot about, we hear people talking about PMS, about, we all remember our teenage years. and how that worked, and low or a lot of sex drive, and not really being aware of what is all involved in it. And I will share the screen later so you can see the image that I have about it. But I forgot to find Dr. Morse's short video. So while I'm looking for it, Sara will explain more about all these glands that make up part of the endocrine system. So go ahead, Sara.
Could I interject for just a quick second before
Of
Sarah reads?
course.
Because this is, I have Dr. Morse's book in front of me right now. And of course, I have it open up to this beautiful system that we're talking about today. But something that a lot of people might not realize is that 75% of all diseases have an endocrine gland involvement in some case. So 75% of your diseases is probably affected because your system is not working correctly. And Sarah's going to go through the different glands that make or organs that make up this system, and some factors to think about are like even like your cholesterol. If you have high blood pressure, low blood pressure, that is also an indicator of an endocrine glandular system failure. And when this system is not working, this is how we pass on from generation to generation a weaker body, and I guess I'm going to say weaker body, and that's why each generation becomes weaker and weaker, and that's why we see babies now being born with all sorts of like, if you want to call them diseases or deformities, it all stems from this. And so I just wanted to share that with you because I think that's important. That's why we're having this conversation today, because it is a big deal. So anyways, I'll let Sarah go ahead and tell us a little bit about this system.
Thank you, Katie. I believe that as well too. So it weakens our genetics. So if we don't get this area of our bodies cleaned up, you are passing it on to the next generation. What do they also say too, that each woman carries all the eggs that she'll ever have in her life. So technically you have every generation within you that could ever be as well. I've not really looked into that before, but I have no idea how many generations it is, if it's everyone that ever could be. So in a way, you're leaving your genetics onto your future generations. So if you don't clean up yourself, you're just hurting your gene line down the road, per se. And no, I just forgot what else I was going to include in that. But yeah, you hear about like chronic dehydration, things like that. This is all affected by that. So it's good to get yourself in line before passing it on to future generations. So the different glands that this is, it starts with the hypothalamus gland, a region of the brain that regulates the release of hormones from the pituitary gland. You have your adrenal glands, which are located on top of each kidney. The adrenal glands produce hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline involved in stress response. It also produces noradrenaline, I've not heard of that, or norepinephrine. I cannot say that. Can anyone else say that word? Androstenedione? Yeah, thanks, Toni, for allowing me. I am not a doctor. Which are all precursors to both male and female sex hormones. Each of these do sit on your kidney. So it's that's where we also check our blood pressures. You have your upper number and your lower number. Those both are for your upper number, correct me if I'm wrong, is your adrenals. Your lower number is going to be your kidneys. And, so it's important to check both arms when you're doing your blood pressure. Is that correct, Gary or Toni?
Yeah.
Yep. Say that word again.
When you're checking your blood pressure, you want to make sure to check both arms. Have like a rest in between them, because your upper number is your adrenals, your lower number is your adrenals. I'm sorry, your kidneys.
The kidneys, yeah.
Yes. Yep. And then you have the pancreas as an endocrine gland. The pancreas produces hormones like insulin and glycogen, which regulates blood sugar levels. As an exocrine gland, the pancreas releases digestive enzymes, small intestine to aid in the digestion of food. The thymus gland is situated behind the sternum. The thymus gland plays a role in the development of the immune system, particularly during childhood. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been hearing tons of people that have problems with their thymus, and that's pretty much what everybody has been talking about. They see their weight gain, they see their, I don't have no idea, but that's pretty much all I hear in at least my generation. So I don't know what has happened that has been passed down, but there's a lot of that coming out now too. Your ovaries in females and testes in the males, they produce sex hormones, including progesterone and estrogen and testosterone, respectively, which play a crucial role in the reproduction and development. Your pituitary gland, which is located at the base of the brain, the pituitary gland is often called the master gland because of its central role in regulating and controlling various endocrine glands throughout the body, including the thyroid gland, adrenal glands, ovaries in females, and testes in males. Your pituitary, I always got those confused in the very beginning with your pituitary and your pineal gland, but they both do play very important roles, so they are separate. So the pineal gland is located in the brain. It produces the hormone melatonin, which helps regulate sleep-wake cycles. This is the gland that you can have crystallized or calcified, and that's something that we do need to break away from that because this is very important for us. People take melatonin all the time, and once you start taking melatonin, your body can no longer produce melatonin. And the reason why you're probably having trouble going to sleep is because this whole system is irregulated and you need to get it back on track. By decalcifying your pituitary gland, you'll allow your body to start making the melatonin again. Another reason why this is very important. Your thyroid gland found in the neck, and thyroid gland produces hormones that regulate metabolism and energy levels. Energy drinks. Don't drink energy drinks. And your parathyroid glands, small glands located near the thyroid gland that control calcium levels in the body. That is your endocrine system.
Yeah, I have the screen share up now. So, and it goes now into the details of how it all works. We don't have to all read it. But what I was surprised actually to realize is all the hormones of the pituitary. You know, the growth hormone, it actually has to do with the breast tissue stimulating milk production after childbirth. Yeah, it's amazing how this whole system works.
Mhm. Yeah, for everything that, like with milk production, there is a chemical that produces the milk, and there's also a chemical that dries the milk up.
Yeah, they have all these. Well, I'm gonna read this because I think it is important. I don't know if I can pronounce them all. But the
Just like
hormones
me.
of I can let you do it.
Yeah, thanks.
The hormones of the pituitary, the growth hormone, GA, is a metabolic hormone that affects growth of skeletal muscle and the long bones of the body. It stimulates target cells to grow and divide. Now, I remember when I was 11 years old, I was a lot taller than anyone in my class. I mean, a lot. You could see the whole class in a picture, and you could pick me out because I was so much taller than the rest of them. And I had pains. I had a lot of pains in my bones, not realizing that it had to do. I don't even think doctors do it by then. But my good thing was that I stopped growing when I was 12 years old. 12 years old. But at that time, I was already 5'9". So that was even for even in the Netherlands, that was rather tall. And then you have prolactin, PRL, the structural similar to GH, the growth hormone, it is only known to target breast tissue by stimulating milk production after childbirth and throughout breastfeeding. Isn't it amazing how everything works in the body? Then we have one that I cannot pronounce. I'm not even going to try, but the short version is ACTH. It regulates the endocrine activity of the adrenal cortex. And then we have the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, and I think most people know about that, controls the growth and activity of the thyroid glands. Then we have gonadotropic hormones, regulates the activity of the gonads. I didn't know, that's a new word for me. That's the ovaries and testes. Then we have follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, stimulates the development of the follicles in the ovaries, triggering them to produce estrogen and ready eggs for ovulation. In men, FSH stimulates the development of sperm in the testes. Then we have a luteinizing hormone, LH, triggering ovulation and the production of progesterone and small amounts of estrogen from the follicle. In men, LH stimulates testosterone production by cells within the testes. Now, I don't know how it was with you, Gary, but so far, every iris analysis, I see weak pituitary.
There is a lot, yes.
Yes, and it's often also the thyroid, kidneys. We know we kind of expect that too, parathyroid too, but specifically the pituitary. And you say often, I literally can say all the time, all of them that I have seen. Now, we always like to go back to the cause. Would you have an idea what could be the cause that so many people have a weak pituitary? Would that be our food, the way it is now? Because I've been on this earth for quite some time. And I had all the pituitary weaknesses, in my childhood.
Toni, I was going to share with you that Dr. Morse calls the pituitary gland the master gland
Yep.
because
Right.
it's considered the master gland because it controls most of the functions of all the other glands. And that's why it's so important. And then he also even speaks about like the pituitary gland. That is one of the first things when the embryo develops. That's one of the first things that is developed. And then it has connections to the GI tract. So I find that very interesting too. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't aware that that was one of the first that developed.
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to look to see where I saw that. Yeah, it just says on page 44 of his book, being one of the first areas of the body formed in the embryo stages of life, the GI tract is linked to all the tissues in the body in ways that we do not yet understand. We know that in the embryo stage, the spinal cord and the gut tissues are the first manifestations from the head area. And then it just talks about like if you have gut tissue, the gut tissues in the fetus later I'm sorry, I'm a little mixed up here. It's just, then he goes on to just talk about how it's so vital that we clean up and strengthen our GI tract in your detoxification process if you wish to have true success in regenerating your glands as well as your whole body. But yeah.
Yeah, everything works together. That is why it's so odd that you have a doctor for all these different parts of your body. That just doesn't make any sense.
Right. And then he even mentions like if you have a weakened pituitary gland, you usually have a lot of neurological weaknesses such as multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, and other things, which I'm sure we'll talk about too. So anyways, just wanted to share that.
Gary, you were going to say something?
Yeah. but I don't remember what it was now. Well,
I asked about.
most of like the pituitary, the uh, hypothalamus and the pituitary coming down, it regulates. They're all communicating with each other, but the pituitary sends information to all the other endocrine glands, and they're communicating back and forth, trying to maintain balance. But because we're dehydrated, we're under chemical attack. We're not breathing properly. We're eating dead foods. Then it starts to set the whole system off. And once one starts to diminish, especially if it's a pituitary, all the rest of them are going to diminish because it's the master gland. And getting that back online through breath and movement and hydration and, like fruits and berries and melons and even veggies. I know they're not as high in the electrical part, but we need to clean things out because the bodies are getting so dirty and we're just passing it on from generation to generation. So our endocrine gland system is getting weaker through each generation. And our part is to maintain the physical body through the quantum realm, which is, what gives life here. Everything, the sun, we're told to stay out of the sun, to stay in your house, to be 6 feet apart. This is all crap. It's all made up, all of it. And, there's a new variant that's coming out and it's called Another Con. And so we have to realize that it is all made up. And the only ones that are going to correct it are us, because the people who charge us to go to their system, which is the medical system, I call it the poison palace now, because it's harvesting cash from our disease. This is why chronic disease is so high. They make money from that. And they're pushing everyone into a chronic situation because nobody knows how to correct it. And they use a language that makes them seem superior to us, and they're not. They're not superior. We need to break things down to simple terms like the body is all one unit. The left may not know the right's there electrically from the spine, because from the spine, the left side is the nervous system comes out and it only rules the left side, and the right side only comes out of the spine and it only takes care of the right side of the body. You had mentioned this before. If we actually forgot where I was going with that, but as we are moving through life, we're being decharged instead of charged. And we can't function. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So if we start taking any hormones, that's like micromanaging a system that manages itself. And the body will stop producing it. This is one of my things with protein. You're substituting protein. The body produces protein. And it's a different type of protein. It's like water, right? We drink water, but the water that's inside our cells, did you ever notice if we get cut, no water runs out? You can say blood, but blood is outside the cells. And the water that is keeping us charged and on a certain frequency is a gel, like almost like jello, and it's inside the cell. But you can cut a cell, it won't come out. And we're mostly water. So why is that? Because that frequency that's coming in, that's affecting everything in the body, including our whole endocrine system, needs to be charged for that gel, basically, to function properly. The frequency is what's controlling that cell. So when we go in with a synthetic hormone and we start doing that, and rather than promote the body to maintain its health, we're promoting the body to become sick. That's what our healthcare system has become. They want us sick so that they can make more money. And that in itself is a shame. And it's something that has to be reversed. But these are really, really powerful people. So the best thing to do is not to challenge the system. It's to just step outside the system and start consuming live liquids, fruits, berries, melons, and even vegetables for some, because their body is so out of tune. Even Dr. Morse talks about this. The fruits may be too powerful for them because of the toxins built in their body. So they may have to start on a green smoothie and then go to a green juice and put in a little bit of fruit, maybe eat the fruit so that it involves the digestive system a little bit more, and the body will pull itself back. It's the lack of all that stuff that creates the damage. And we don't need to run to doctors. We need to run to nature and let nature heal it through the herbs and the fresh things that the plants produce, designed specifically to keep our body healthy. And we've been pulled so far away from that we've even forgotten that nature is out there. And that's what they want. They want a synthetic world. And they're doing everything they can to destroy anything natural in nature, including GMO trees and bees that will only pollinate GMO plants that are grown in soil that has aluminum. These bees are not affected by aluminum, which is everywhere, right? So we need to keep our body clean, and it's at such a point we have to do it manually now. We're helping the body manually by opening the gates and the 6 lymphatic gates and the gates to the spinal column, and cleaning out the lungs to get the toxins out of the bottom of the lungs, because that's where most of our blood oxygen transfer takes place, and get out of fight or flight and pull the blood back into the core. There's too much of it in our limbs because we're looking for that fight, and we're the only ones we are the only ones that don't know how to turn off fight or flight. And it's not difficult. Breathe in through the nose and you exhale through the mouth longer than you inhaled, and that turns off fight or flight and turns on rest, digest, and heal. And this will help the whole endocrine system. It'll help everything in the whole body because it's all regulated by the endocrine system. And we need to keep it simple like that so people can understand it. We get into words that are, 26 letters and things that we know nothing about, and that's their power against us. We go in and we think that they're doing us a solid, that they're helping us heal. Like I talked to a woman the other day, she'd been on medication for 10 years. And it was regulating, is what it was doing. And I said, so how many more years do you think you need to be on this before your body's going to heal? Because it's already been 10. And we know just from helping people that you can turn a lot of things around in 3 to 4 weeks so that they start to feel better. In 3 or 4 weeks, not 10 years, not 20 years, not for the rest of their lives. They'll be on this medication. Or chemo. I was listening to a woman yesterday. She's been on chemo for 18 years. Think about that. And she went to a Dr. Joe seminar, and now she's completely off chemo. She has no cancer left in her body. But it had been there for 18 years because we are the power. And we've been duped in believing that we can't control things. And it's not true. But the way to do it is so simple that most people don't believe it because we've been trained to overcomplicate everything. So taking care of our endocrine system should be job one. Learning how to breathe. This should be taught in school. You know, a lot of countries, even the elementary kids go out in the winter and lay in the snow. I mean, they're wearing bathing suits and because it's polarizing your system. We've been so domesticated and we're in one temperature all the time. And the things that we're eating are destroying our body's ability to maintain itself. And that's their excuse to give us drugs. The average visit right now in a doctor's office is 6 minutes. That's even for a physical. They have to figure out what's wrong, give you a medication, and send you out the door in 6 minutes. It takes longer than that to eat a meal. Oh, unless you're eating fruit. But the cooked food, you know, we have to prep it, and we have to put it on. Sometimes let it rest, I guess, is what a lot of things are. Let it rest. But all our food is contaminated with carcinogens and things that interrupt our endocrine gland system. That's why we're getting sick. And they're even trying to do that to the fruits, the berries, and the melons because they know that they can create a lifetime customer by doing that. You know, what's always bugged me is, you know, the fruits, berries, melons, veggies section is very small in these massive stores. And we walk right through it. It's the first thing you come to because it stimulates our appetite because everything is fresh. But there's not a label on any of them other than what's GMO and what's considered organic or whatever, right? But we walk right through that to go read the label of the very foods that are full of the chemicals that are interrupting our endocrine gland system. And that's what we have to be careful of. We're running by the real food to buy the dead food. And every person does that. Because you can't go in a store that the fruits, berries, melons, and veggies, that's the first thing you go through. The whole outside of the store usually is live food. Or not rotten, let's put it that way, because you're dealing with flesh and stuff too. But and then you get into your fermented foods and the chemicals that are in them, and I can send you the name, but it's got to be 30 letters long that they're using to make bread rise. And that is also what they use to create the foam of a yoga mat. That's what makes that foam rise, and the rubber on the bottom of your sneakers. That's the chemical they're putting in the bread to make it rise. Well, we really need to think about what's going on in the industry and know that R.J. Reynolds basically took over the food industry when they started having issues with people complaining about cigarettes. You know, cigarettes are still there. The poisons are still in them. And now they're poisoning the food the exact same way. And it took 50 years for them to admit that cigarettes are bad for us. And it was the people already knew in advance. It just took them 50 years to admit it. Well, same thing's going to happen with the food. They're putting chemicals in the food to make us sick. And it's one big loop. You've got your FDA and your CDC and all these things. They've been taken over by corporations. And so if we want a healthy endocrine gland system, we have to really start paying attention to what's going on and what's in our food, and how it makes our body feel when we eat something. Are we energized or are we tired? Because most cooked meals, you get tired because you're forcing your body to digest that food, and it takes approximately 60% of your energy to digest a meal. Well, if you're only producing 70 or 80% of your available energy, and 60 of it has to go to digest your food, your body will put you to sleep. And if you see people, and the weaker their adrenals are, the deeper the sleep. It's called a food coma. I mean, you can see drool running out of people's mouths and everything, and they're just trying to stay awake. And alcohol is a big part of that too. A lot of people will drink and then they'll crash. And then you take like Thanksgiving and Christmas where you're eating big meals and you're drinking. I mean, your body doesn't stand a chance because we're forcing it to do things. And we don't need 3 meals a day, plus snacks, plus, all the other stuff that we're doing. 1 or 2 meals a day is all you need. We're forcing the body into exhaustion. And a huge part of that is our endocrine gland system. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. Anybody want to say anything? Sorry for the rant.
I did want to chime in real quick on what you just said at the very end there. And because this is something I used to do many years ago. So after like a long day at school or even college or even into when I was working, I would, have like a crappy meal for breakfast, maybe like a coffee, some toast or whatever. Then I would run into work and I would work all day. I would work through my lunch, and it would be something, of course, crappy again, too, like just something I just grabbed. And then when I would come home, I would have a headache. I wouldn't feel good. I was stressed out from the day. And I was looking to, I needed that thing to help me de-stress. And so, like a pizza, a pasta, fries, baked potatoes, things like that. I can still remember to this day because it is like a drug. It would it would help me go like, oh, and then I would just sit down and I would eat and I would watch TV, and then it was like a de-stressor. So when we talk about these kinds of things, people are addicted to this kind of stuff for like a whole array of reasons. And not only is there stuff in there to make them addictive, but they chemically help us come down from being stressed out the whole day. That's why everything we talk about, it involves everything from your mental health, your physical health, your social health. All these things work in combination together. So now that I think I'm busier now than I've ever been with all the animals, the outdoor work, the farm, and all this stuff. I have learned to regulate my system through, fruits and meditation and grounding to where I don't need that portion of the food anymore to help me feel okay inside. So when people are really getting into this path, what we've been talking about, I just wanted to touch on that as well too, because it is powerful on all different kinds of levels. But yeah, I just wanted to add that part in there too.
Yeah, and when people do a detox, let's say for, I don't know, even if it's 3 days, and they feel better, they go back to the food that made them sick, that made them want to do a cleanse. And that is part of the addiction. I mean, anybody who has a television or anything, I mean, all it is ads about the food that make you sick, to go eat it, because it tastes good. And they could literally take cardboard and make it into a mush. And there are 7 companies that make different oils. So as a fast food person, not me, but the companies, the people that own these fast food companies, they go to these oil companies and they go, I'd like to have some type of a really incredible barbecue oil to put on my burgers. And that way you don't have to barbecue them. Or I didn't even know what they have there, but these flavors, if you smell that oil, it smells exactly like a barbecued burger. And they can dump that on anything. And you eat it and you think that it is a barbecued burger. But it can be anything. It could be spoiled meat. It can be anything that has the texture of meat, and they can make it taste like anything that they want. And when I watched a documentary on this, the guy that owned the company, the fast food company, went there, and they had like 10 different oils of 10 different flavors of barbecue something. And they would smell it and taste it. It tasted exactly like a barbecued burger. And they would pick the one they want, and then they'd make that oil for them, and they would have a special barbecue burger. Uh, they would sell it for a limited time offer. When you hear that in the fast food industry, McDonald's and Burger King and all those places, that's what they're doing. They're buying this oil and they're putting it on things that basically don't have any flavor, and it tastes exactly like a barbecued burger. So they can get away with using this inferior meat, probably processed, and make it taste like whatever you want. And the people that eat it, that oil is not really good for our body. So these are the things we have to be careful of.
That's very interesting, Gary, because the other day I was also watching a podcast or something, and they were talking about the fast food. And another thing that this podcast pointed out, like it mentioned something about what you were watching or what you were just speaking on, but
Yeah.
also mentioned how these fast food restaurants, if you look at their logos and look at the colors that are used in those logos, they're all kind of the same. They all have like a hint of red, yellow, and orange in them. And I was like, oh, I never noticed that. And then when I started thinking about, okay, what's Dairy Queen? That's white and red. What's Burger King? That's brown, red, and orange, and a little bit yellow. And then McDonald's, red and yellow. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, those are your lower chakra colors. That's your red,
Mhm.
yellow, or red, orange, and yellow are your lower chakras that we're trying to rise out of. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is just so fitting because those foods are terrible for us. They do more harm. They hold us down to the earth, because that's dead and things like that. And so I find it very interesting to hear you share that information because that aligns perfectly with what I was just learning about yesterday, I think it was. And then even when you were saying how this is all connected, or well, you said it and then Sarah spoke on it. And that's how I came into all of this is that, I saw my son, he started having grand mal seizures and it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And then it was like, how do I help him? And, we put him on prescriptions, but those prescriptions weren't doing anything. So then I went to a homeopathic doctor where he said, well, let's look at the food. And then when I was looking at the food, then I started looking at the human anatomy. And then I looked at the Bible and I'm like, oh my gosh, because your human anatomy was created this way and God created the earth and you this way. So there's that Bible stuff. And this is how you're supposed to eat and things. And it's like, it's all connected. And so
Mhm.
then, Gary, when you were speaking earlier, you were talking about how they have the fruits and the vegetables at the front of the store, and they do that on purpose to kind of get your senses up,
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm going to be hungry now. But you know what? I'm going to bypass all that and I'm going to look at all this other crap that's in the store. And then you think about, oh, the tobacco industry. Oh, they got rid of that. No, they didn't, because now you have people vaping, and then they have it in our food products and things like
Mhm.
that. And it's like it's they know that everything is connected, so they're going to hit you in all of these different areas. And even as you're cleansing yourself and you're trying to heal yourself, you even start to realize, okay, I've mastered that temptation, but now all of a sudden a new temptation is coming in where I need to deal with that. And so I just find this very, very interesting. And then even like when we're talking about the endocrine system, how, we were just saying the pituitary gland is like the master gland because it's connected to everything. And again, you just see how this is just it's all entwined. And so,
Mhm.
thank you so much, Sara and Toni and Gary, for everything that you're sharing today. Because to me, I'm sitting here with my notebook and I'm just having aha moment after aha moment. Even when Gary was talking about how we have children in the world that go outside in the winter wearing bathing suits. And yesterday, when I was traveling, I was looking at the cows, and I even said to Matt, I go, it's so interesting that cows can be outside in the heat of the summers and in the freezing cold of the winters, and that their bodies adjust. And I even said, I wonder if we were supposed to be that way too. And then here's Gary today on this podcast talking about how our bodies aren't regulated and how we're so used to being at, I like it at 70 degrees. Okay, so then you always want to be at 70 degrees, and your body can't adjust to the different types of temperatures. So, anyways, thank you so much, you guys, for everything that you're sharing and just gifting me today all these aha moments. I really appreciate it.
Well,
Well,
thank
you're
you,
welcome.
Katie. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I do have the PDF up about the 10 pages of the endocrine system. And Gary already mentioned the part of fight or flight, and we will get to that too. I have been scrolling it down so whoever is on the call can read it about the hormone producing tissues and organs, the endocrine physiology. This was interesting too. The endocrine system controls reproduction, growth, and development, maintaining a balance of electrolytes, water, and nutrients in the blood, defending the body against stress, and controlling metabolism and energy levels. It essentially has an important role in every aspect of the body. All this control comes from hormones produced by ductless glands directly into the bloodstream. These hormones are either amino acid molecules, proteins, peptides, and amines, or steroid molecules made from cholesterol. If anyone wants to say something, then just jump in. Here is how hormones act in the body. You might wonder how hormones can be floating everywhere in the bloodstream, but only act on specific cells or tissues. Hormones bind with proteins on or in target cells called binding sites. If a cell does not have a site where a specific hormone can bind, that cell will not react to the hormone. Hormones mostly act on cells to increase or decrease that existing activity or metabolic action rather than create new actions. They primarily stimulate mitosis, increase, decrease secretions, activate, deactivate enzymes, change the permeability of cell membranes, or activate production of proteins or enzymes within cells. It all sounds like you cannot even think of the most complicated factory system that's out there. I think our body will beat it with everything. It is so, it's so amazing.
Yeah, it's you know, as the hormones are traveling with the blood through the system, it goes by a lot of cells that it can't work with. Well, that hormone uh, chemical is like a key that you'd put in a lock, like an old skeletal key, right? Well, if that cell receptor, if that key doesn't fit it, it can't go in there. So that's how it gets to where it needs to go. As soon as it goes by that one, there's an electromagnetic charge there, and that key will lock into that cell. Well, if that cell's covered with mucus, it can't really get in there because it's sitting in acid. That cell's sitting in acid, and it's building that mucus layer around it to protect it. And then you end up with a malabsorption issue where what we need to get in that cell can't get in there, and that cell starts to, um, well, literally die of thirst, die of malnutrition, and suffocate until we get that tissue loosened up again and we get moving. And as that, because all inflammation is in the lymphatic system, as the inflammation starts to get bigger and spread more, it causes the tissue to clamp onto the nerve. And the nerve just wants to slide back and forth through soft tissue. That's why when you're healthy, you can't feel your body because everything is moving the way it's supposed to. But as soon as that inflammation comes in, it starts to grab that nerve, and that nerve is trying to slide through that tissue, and it doesn't like to be pulled on. It doesn't like to, it's trying to move back and forth, and it hurts. That's what causes pain in the body, is that inflammation, and that nerve can't move back and forth through that tissue. Uh, So this is part of what the endocrine gland system is about. It's about putting everything where it needs to be and keeping the body healthy so that everything can function and move in the body, because we don't want stagnation in there, which is what inflammation is. It's not allowing the blood to get in there, so the hormones can't get in, the oxygen, the hydration can't get into the cell, and the cell starts to die because of it, and it hurts us because the cell is hurting. And reducing inflammation, we know fruits, berries, and melons will do that. They'll reduce the inflammation in your body, and the body will return back to normal. That's why they don't want us eating fruits. That's why they go, oh, well, that's sugar. There's 262 different names for sugar. And on those labels, because they're names most of us never heard of, there could be industrial sugar, and industrial sugar is industrial sugar as far as I'm concerned. There could be 5 different layers of sugar in there, and you only see 1 or maybe 2. And the sugar is cutting down your electrical charge in your cells. And that's when you get dis-ease in the body. It's all about the electrical flow, the nervous systems keeping the energy flowing properly through the body, through the endocrine system, through all the systems. And when we abandon that because we think somebody knows more about our body than we do, who is actually profiting from your dis-ease, chances are they're not going to help you. And that's not true about every doctor. A lot of doctors want to help us. And a lot of doctors are leaving that system because they know they can't help. Not with the system that they're working in. And they have to give up everything. I mean, they might have spent $500,000 to become a doctor. And they have to walk away from that. And a lot of these, there were 2 doctors. If you've ever seen the movie Under Our Skin, which is about ticks, there were 2 doctors that researched for 27 years on their own time. On their own time. And they were the 2 doctors that were reversing the Lyme disease from ticks. They fired them both, or they took away their license. They took their homes, their life savings, and kicked them out of the system because they were actually reversing Lyme disease. And that's in the film, Under Our Skin, because the system did not believe in chronic Lyme disease, and that's what they were studying. And you can't go outside the system. Well, if you can't go outside of the system in that particular instance, how many things are there that are wrong with our body in chronic disease that they're not allowing them to study? No, it's medicate, medicate, medicate. And the medications are interrupting our endocrine gland system, who's trying to self-regulate the body, and they can't do it. It's like you were talking about. You should check the blood pressure in both arms because it comes from the kidneys and adrenals. Well, they only check one. And then if you start to have a kidney issue, then they start checking both. But the kidneys are the pressure in the body and the adrenals are the energy. So your adrenals are the top number and your kidneys are the bottom. So you know that you're having a problem, whether it's a pressure or an electrical issue, and usually it's both because they kind of affect each other. And they work with things like the liver, and so even though they have a left and right side, and it all works together, and they're breaking us into pieces parts, just like a McNugget, right? It's all pieces parts of God only knows what. Well, they're doing the same thing to us. Oh, you have a kidney issue? Here, let me rip that out for you. Not clean it out, rip it out. And then once that happens, they put you, and what they're affecting really is the immune system, which is part of your endocrine gland system. Everything is working together. So as our immune system gets weaker, we get more chronic disease starts to develop in the body. And because of that, they make billions of dollars. And I sent Toni a documentary. Oh no, it's not a documentary. It's a video. And the guy has actually stepped out of the system, and he has pharmacies because it's so corrupt that they control everything. He said one year he did $1 million in of the pharmaceuticals the way they wanted it set up, and they disputed it, and they didn't pay him. He said, "Well, I'm not the type of pharmacy that can just absorb $1 million," and they wanted to wait 3 months to do an audit to see if he did everything right, and they'll find something wrong and they won't pay him. He goes, and that could go on for 3 years, and I can't carry that kind of debt. So he's dropped out of that system, and he works directly with people because people are getting, even with the copay, the company actually makes more money from the copay because they're charging you more. He said, I could sell you XYZ medication for $2, but I have to charge you 10, and they don't even, he said, they may pay me one, they might pay me $2, and they take the rest. So he said, I started selling people. I completely stepped out of the system, and I will sell you that for $2. But he's getting a lot of flack because the insurance companies don't like that, the medical system. So the dirty little secrets are all starting to come out, which was what 2024 and 2025 is really about. It's exposing the corruption so that we can And a lot of people have a lot of mental issues with that because they depend on that system for their drugs. I mean, if you're 50 years old and you're not on 4 or 5 medications, then as far as the system's concerned, you're an outcast. They don't want anything to do with you. And they need you on those medications, and they want you on it for life, like that woman that had chemo for 18 years. I mean, come on. How long do you think it's going to take for your body to heal?
Yeah, we want to get to the point that we don't need, I mean, even according to doctors, that, well, we never need any medication, I think.
Yeah.
Because that is the ultimate goal. If anyone wants to see that interview, it's when you go to YouTube and you type in Tucker Carlson, it's an interview with Tucker Carlson. It's one of his latest videos, so you can find it easily on YouTube. I am not, I'm not insured, so it's and I don't go to doctors. So that's a good thing. And yes, they take out gallbladders, thyroid, tonsils, whatever else, just to remove it. You have a problem, remove it. I've even heard from a lady, she had a C-section, and they took out her gallbladder as preventative. And I was thinking, well, with a C-section, you're not even close to the gallbladder, really, not really. But still, things like this happen. So it's really a crazy world. I don't want to be a part of it. I do have 10 years ago, I tripped and broke the left femur, the strongest body in the bone, just by twitching my leg. Now, I was on a, well, pretty healthy diet, not no meat. But I had been on a lot of what is it, supplements. The magnesium and the calcium, and there's a variety of different magnesiums and calciums, and probably took the wrong one. And I had been taking that my whole life. Well, needless to say, it didn't do my body, definitely my bones, not any good. So it broke way, way, way too easily. When I asked the doctor, like, what happened? Is there decalcification in my bones? Oh no, you just have strong muscles, and that was end of the story. And I still don't, yeah, I still don't understand that part.
No.
But then they tell you, oh, this is only going to last for 5 to 10 years, because a year before I had a heart attack, so they figured I wouldn't live long. And so now it is the 10 years. The hip has been, of that metal in my bones has been bothering me all 10 years. So now I really have to change my mindset. It's like, oh my gosh, it's 10 years. Do I need new surgery now? What the heck are they going to do? And I don't want to do it.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. I do not want to go through another one of those surgeries. They are pretty terrible.
Yeah, I posted a post the other day. Germany now, if you want euthanasia, you have to be fully vaccinated before they do it.
Yeah, that is too crazy. I heard about that, and I heard about all the fuss that people are making about euthanasia. I'm from the Netherlands, so it's been in the Netherlands for as long as I can remember. But to sign up for that, you have to be of a clear mind, sign a document, and then if the time is there, then you can use that. Well, I have to say, both my mother years ago and my sister 2 years ago, after she could no longer handle the pain and all the opioids didn't even work anymore.
Mhm.
And she had already, when she knew she had cancer, she already signed up for that. So it's like, and I was like, gosh, if she had only listened to me, she would still be here. But yeah,
Well, that's true, but you're never a guru in your own home.
no, no. Well, I did mention a video, Dr. Morse video, that she could listen to, and that was the end of it because she had to come to me, she wanted to heal. The good thing is her son is more open-minded, and she is no longer here. It's just an odd feeling. It's my younger sister, my baby sister, I always said. But anyway, we're talking about a complex system in our body, like the endocrine system and all the hormones. And even the sex hormones are part of it. And we often wonder why we have, disrupted menstrual cycle and irregular ovulation and the cortisol, the stress-related hormones. It's all part of even if you are interested in sex or not. And if you have a low sex drive, look at how much stress there is in your life. And it's part of it. And who these days does not have any stress in their lives? I mean, my life is rather easy actually, but still things happen that you get upset about. Now, these are short-term stresses, like people you hire not doing their work correctly, or people who make promises and don't keep them. That's usually a trigger for me. But these are the short-term stresses. But people have stresses in their work. So, in with kids, with partners, people they live with. It can be, it's in every corner pretty much. So that's where it is so important to follow Gary's guidelines in all his videos. I haven't even told you, Gary, but I put all your videos are now, you can now find them all that were on are on Facebook. They're all on the channel.
Oh, thank you very much.
So someday we have to put them on your own channel, but they are all there, and people are watching them. And there are a lot, so it may get a little confusing. So maybe I should pick out a few, and it's like, okay, you got to listen to this one. I do that when I send out my protocols, healing protocols to people. So that's always part of it. And as complicated as all of this may seem, the solution is we always get to the same thing. It's change your diet. I think with the 3.5 years of podcast that we've been doing, we all come to the same conclusion. It is really simple. It may be hard to do, but the solution is really, really simple. And I do have to add, sometimes we have a client and they are at such a point in their life or with their health that they barely believe they can heal. And especially if from the outside, doctors, nurses, and family, tell them that they are doing things wrong, using our guidelines. And then they have a trouble believing in them, believing in themselves, I mean, and that they can heal, and that can stop you from healing too. So at any time, Gary does these beautiful intuitive, I have got to call them intuitive EFT sessions with people. And you can sign up for that too. We have it on, I have it on my website. I think this was the last part in this hormonal thing is the thyroid hormones. And I had a lifelong thyroid issue, and thanks to Gary, he explained where it actually can come from, and which I only heard it from you, Gary. Because I was always wondering why would a young child have thyroid issues where it is not even anywhere in the family, and I'm the only one having it. My daughter doesn't. Can you address that a little, Gary? Because I think more people need to hear this.
Okay.
The
I
cause.
got to go back in the way back machine in my head and try to figure out what I said.
Well, I do remember because I have a crazy memory still, good thing.
Yep.
And that you mentioned if you cannot speak your truth or the truth, your truth. And I was I needed, I'm 70 years old. I needed to keep a secret. And I had to keep that secret for a long, long, long time.
Okay, I got it now.
It was related to that.
Yes. So what happens is we shut down certain sections of our body depending on the issues we had when we were growing up. And one of the big ones is the thyroid is suppressed when you're not able to speak your truth. And you don't know where you're going to be attacked from next. And through, like with me, through school, I mean, I couldn't read or write. So I didn't fit in the system. I know why that is now, but I couldn't find my voice because everything I said, I was proven wrong. Whether I was wrong or not is beside the point. I was proven wrong. So I lost my voice. And it was very difficult for me to speak. So when I did the 6 years in my van, taught myself to read and write and wrote my book, I wanted to do like a book tour, go talk about the book. And I joined Toastmasters. And I did my 10 speeches, which normally takes people a year or so. I did it in 10 days because I was traveling from group to group. I was so scared to get up and speak. I was afraid if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able uh, to I wouldn't be able to finish the 10. And there were a lot of people there that thought that I was giving the same speech everywhere I went. But that's impossible for me to do. I can't even write a speech and do it. I have to do everything intuitively. And actually, that's turned out to be a blessing. And did I want to get in the system? Yep. But I couldn't get there because I was dyslexic and I couldn't figure things out. I couldn't do math. I couldn't do writing. I couldn't. The whole thing was just so foreign to me. And somehow I knew it was all a lie. And now, here I am, 74. We're starting to see the lies unfold in front of us. And I always knew it was a joke that Columbus sailed the blue in 1492 and was the first one to discover America. Well, that was a lie. It's kind of coming out now, but it's always been a lie. I mean, there are Egyptian artifacts here in America. The largest pyramid in the world is in Illinois. It's called the Monk Mound. It covers 13 acres, just the base of it. There were thousands of pyramids here, and everything runs on frequency. That's what they knew back then. That's how they could build the things they built that we can't build today. We can't build it as a public. I believe that there are people on a higher level that do understand that, and the church is one of them. The largest pineal gland or pineal gland is in the courtyard in the Vatican. It's even on the staff of the Pope. There's a little pineal gland there. It's made like a pine cone. That's the representation over the years. Everything in that church is based on frequency. The reason we can't be born into this world in that church, right, without being born into sin, because the frequency of male orgasm is 666. So you're automatically born into sin, whether you're male, female, doesn't matter. It's all made up, all of it, to control the mind, manipulate the people, and get them to do what you want them to do, which is what the food industry is doing too, and the medical, and the FDA, and the CDC, and all these other letter companies that are out there that are controlling things. And they're doing it with specific intent. Our body is a tuning fork. It's an instrument. And we've lost our way to understand that the frequencies that flow through us are either damaging us or healing us. And if you want to change that, you have to learn to breathe and breathe properly. The frequency of our breath can be high or low. Like depression is a low oxygen, low frequency event, where laughter, and we do yoga laughter in class now, is a high oxygen event. Each one of those has a duality too, like a low oxygen event, depression. Well, sleep is a low oxygen event too, but that's to cool our body down. The sun comes out, heats up the earth, heats us up. We're moving all the time. And then when the moon comes out, the earth cools down. And we're supposed to be sleeping during that time, not turning on lights and staying awake all night, because the animals don't do that. So when we go to sleep early and we sleep and get up when at daylight, okay, that's a natural cycle of Earth. And we've given up the campfire for the fire that's coming out of the phone, the computer, all this stuff. And these are frequencies that tap like 1 billion times a second on the skin, and it's penetrating our body. And this is why grounding is so important. When you ground, just like your house is grounded, lightning hits it, goes through the grounding right into the earth without destroying your house. Well, when we ground ourselves, the EMFs out there, the electromagnetic frequencies that are pounding on us if we're not grounded, once we ground, it goes over us and into the earth, and it leaves us alone. But they're not telling us about that because they need us to be that two-way receptor. And I don't know this for a fact, but let's say G5 is a weapon. What's it creating? Frequency. And that frequency is to interrupt our nervous system, our endocrine gland system, so that it throws the body off and it's out of balance. And they can, because we're a two-way receptor, like our story and the intention we put on each word goes out into the universe, and the universe reflects that back to us. And whatever our truth is, my life is terrible, I'm sick all the time, I have pain here, I have pain there, it's going to send you that to make that story real to you. And the minute you start changing your story and the intention on the words, I'm an infinite being in an infinite universe with infinite potential in a world of abundance, taught fear, scarcity, and doubt. And we reverse that, and we realize we have infinite energy all around us all the time. And it's just here. And the energy that's in us is the same energy that moves the entire universe. All the stars, everything, it all moves because of energy. We can't see it, feel it, taste it, touch it. Yet it lives in us. It gave us life. And that life came through the breath. Our belly button, when we were in the womb, is what gave us oxygen and nutrition and hydration. It gave us life. But when we're born and we come out, the belly button goes to the mouth, because that's where we get our hydration, nutrition, and oxygen. And when a woman is pregnant, they're careful what they eat because they know they're feeding that child. Now, not every mom is like that, but most are, I believe. And they stop smoking or they stop drinking or whatever it is during that time frame, and the baby is healthier. Well, once you come into the world and you take that first breath that turns on your electrical system, starts your heart and your lungs and your digestive system, all the automatic things that happen, we get beat down, we lose our voice because we're afraid to speak because we're going to be wrong. This is affecting everything in the body, and it's suppressing our endocrine gland system. So when we realize that's what happened, and we start saying, but I have a voice, I have an opinion, and all my beliefs and disbeliefs were taught to me through the system. But I'm not the system. I'm a person of nature. And I get to express myself here, and I get to express my truth. And it doesn't matter who likes it and who doesn't like it, because no matter what you say, there's going to be somebody that likes it and somebody that doesn't like it. So just to be true to yourself, and we have to unwind, unlearn all these things so that we can get back to our natural being, our natural source. Because most of us don't even know who we are. And I think I'm included in that. I'm connected in ways that I never was connected before. And I feel my energy rising, and my intuition is gaining more and more. And because of that, I've become the observer, the listener, and I hear in people's stories what's going on and why it's going on. And that's been probably the greatest thing that's happened, that I can use the information in their story to help them reverse that. And they can find their strength, their infinite being, their infinite potential, because of that power that lives in us. If it'll move the universe, it'll move us. But we've been dumbed down so much, and our frequencies lowered so much, that we live in a world of dis-ease in the body, electrically, endocrine gland wise, uh, our ability to speak, to move. You know, if you see people and they're struggling to walk and it looks like it's their hips, that's the fear of moving forward. And you can see it in the body language. Everything is in our body, everything is in our story. And when we take control of that and realize we've been manipulated to be like this, all we need to do is change our story, change our diet, learn to breathe, learn to move. And all that will start to reverse itself. And you won't have to go to a book. The information will come to you. That's real information. And I've had things come to me that I'm like, is this going to serve my higher good? Is this going to help me and help me communicate with people in a way that they can regain their health? And if the answer is no, I don't talk about it. And if the answer is yes, I know it's a yes because it makes me laugh hysterically. And like inside, I'm going, man, that's the truth. And and that empowers everything around me and the people around me. I don't have to I don't have to go out of my way to help people heal. The ones that are drawn to me, and then there are those that are pushed away from me too. Uh, because I don't know if it's the energy, I don't know what it is, but I've had some pretty wild experiences with people putting their hands up to shield themselves as I walked by, and I'm like, I looked around, is there somebody else here or what? And I've talked to people about it, and I guess it's just the energy, the frequency. It's not it's not their it's not harmonizing with their energy, their frequency. Like if you're walking through a mall and somebody walks by and all of a sudden you get angry or you get afraid, You know, we have senses all over our body. Nobody really talks about the sixth sense. And we feel that coming from them. Our senses are picking up their senses, and they're angry, and it may make us angry, or it may make us afraid. And this is all part of the endocrine gland system, because we're constantly, I mean, I can show people instantly how to send their consciousness all the way around the world. I can measure it with my dowsing rods. I can do a dowsing rod. I can scan your health aura with them, and it will tell me where the weaknesses are in your body so that I can help you regenerate that area, because that's what it is regeneration.
Is that
And what,
something, Gary, that you do one-on-one or also over the phone or video?
no, over the phone it's story. But if I have somebody, and I've dowsed quite a few health auras. There was one guy, he didn't believe in that at all. So I scanned his body, and I found some weaknesses in his elbow. But I said, "Have you had a hip replacement?" And he went, "How'd you know that?" I said, "There's no energy there." And those are
Wow.
the things you have to remember is, if there's no energy being expressed through that area of the body, then that area of the body is experienced dis-ease, or
Right.
they put something mechanical in.
Yeah. Gary, we are already past 1.5 hours, and I have another
Okay.
meeting coming up. So I hate to cut you short because it's like sitting around a campfire and have this beautiful storyteller who's just going on, and we're learning so much. And I can listen to you for hours, and I'm sure Katie and Sarah agree with me. There's so much truth in heartfelt warmth in you, so much love for everyone that yeah, you are an amazing person.
Thank you very much.
I would like to end with one part. I will read this: the endocrine system's role in detoxification. The endocrine system plays a crucial role in the intricate process of detoxification within the human body, while often associated with hormone regulation. This system also significantly influences the body's ability to eliminate toxins and maintain overall health. The liver, a key player in detoxification, is heavily influenced by the endocrine system. Hormones released by various endocrine glands help orchestrate the liver's detoxification pathways, enabling the breakdown and elimination of harmful substances. Disruption in hormonal equilibrium, often caused by factors like prolonged stress, can hinder the body's detoxification process. Specifically, the stress hormone cortisol can interfere with the liver's detoxification functions, altering the normal breakdown and clearance of toxins. The impact of an imbalanced endocrine system on overall detoxification amplifies Dr. Morse's message: revitalize all body systems, including endocrine system, to ensure the proper removal of toxins and harmful acidosis from the body. Now, I promised you guys a short video, and I was looking for that, and let me see, I found it here. When you go to moises.tv and you use the bottom search function, and I will show you that in a minute. I was looking for bioidentical hormones, and I found one that is over half an hour long, so we're not going to listen to that. But there's one here for 1 minute and 38 seconds. He mentioned that, and that was actually the funny part of it. Well, funny. It's like where he says, "I don't care if they're bioidentical or they're yesterday's soup. You're going to lose your adrenals, and you don't want to do that." So we'll listen to this.
And again, by taking them, it's well established. I don't care if they're bioidentical or they're yesterday's soup. you're going to lose your adrenals, and you just don't want to do that. It's just not worth it for a 50-year-old gal to lose her adrenals. It'd be hard to live with a woman like that. But you don't remember, if you take them, I don't care what form they're in, your body quits making them, and they gave you. It's kind of like mixing hydrochloric acid and your acid digestive enzymes with your base digestive enzymes. Same kind of thing here. I don't like that. The fact, if you got weak adrenals, you got to fix them. And fixing them can be all kinds of ways. You can use herbs, you can use glandulars, but you want to do a whole systemic work on yourself, because if you're having trouble with the adrenals, you're going to also have trouble with kidneys and the lymph system to some degree. So you want to fix those up and get your health back there, and think about the pituitary, because if I read on, my symptoms at this time are mood swings, all right? Sleep problems, okay? So we're back up in the head here at the pineal gland and the pituitary, irregular periods. Now that can be because you're a 50-year-old gal, but at the same time, I'm going to be looking at your pituitary here and going after that. And so here we go. Cystic jawline, acne. So you're very lymphatic up in the head here, sweetheart, and you got to get this lymph system cleaned out so your pituitary can stand up and breathe and be the boss that it is. And get your adrenals up, get your thyroid, parathyroid up, tender breast. Again, that's the lymph system there, and that's showing that you're very acidic in the breast tissue. That's a precursor to fibromyalgia or fibrocystic breasts, in other words. A precursor to the little tumors and calcifications and everything else, because the soreness is due to acidosis. So you're going to be forming these little calcifications. I saw them kill a lady over a little calcification once. A little calcification, and they killed her. Actually went after her, put her on chemo, radiation, did a lumpectomy on a calcification. I mean, that's insane. And some concentration mental fogness. Yeah, she's not overweight. I take good supplements, but my question was, is there a specific supplement or an herbal supplement that would you keep things in check better? In Christ, Carla. Well, Carla, Christ would be doing a full body detox on you about now, detoxifying you, putting you up toward fasting, probably on fruits first, and cleaning your lymph system out a little bit, getting rid of all this acne, clean up that lymph, which will then increase gland performance for yourself and bring these glands into harmony. He'd be picking the herbs which his father made for him, and you would be using them. So
that was an interesting, well, a short video. If you go to this website, here at the bottom, right bottom, you can search for any topic. You just put in, one word or two words, and then put it like this, and you'll find him talking about it. And there are several. He mentioned the hormones and the endocrine system several times. So this is it's quite interesting.
Mm.
If anyone is interested in getting this PDF, you will have to send me an email, because I'm not going to publish it anywhere. It is published, and that is why I have the link at the bottom. If you go to Dr. Morse's Health Club, and you can find it like this, or if you have the document, click on the link. All that information is there too. Well, that's about it, what I have for today. Oh yeah, send me an email at Healthy with Fruits. I always wonder, was it healthy with fruits or healthy with fruit at gmail.com? Oh my gosh. Well, you can also send it to Weel at gmail.com. Sorry, that will work too. So anyway, guys, I have an itchy throat all of a sudden. Okay. I want to thank everybody for being here. Sara and Katie. Sorry, guys. Don't know what is overcoming me. Anyway, thanks, Gary, Sara, and Katie. And we got to talk about that dowsing and that scanning on another podcast. I want to know more about that, because that is quite interesting.
I'll see if I can.
Yeah, would you say it kind of beats iridology reading?
No, it's just another tool.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll try to. We should set it up. I'm going to try to find somebody that can douse their health aura.
You can use me as an.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm not there. I need somebody physically in front of me.
Oh, that is what I was asking. Do you need somebody who is physical in front of you? And you said
Yes.
by phone, and I was like, oh, okay, by phone.
No.
All right.
It's their story over the phone
Okay, got it.
that shows me where the energy is off in the body. But when they're physically here, I don't have to talk to them. I can just douse their body, and I can tell where their weaknesses are
Huh, okay.
because it all works on energy.
Yeah, I need to learn that. That is interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm over
dowsing
here
is-
thinking I just need to go find where Gary is and meet up with him.
Yeah, I already tried to get him over to Florida. We want
But
it.
I'm at the queue right now.
Yeah, we
I'll
need
be here. I'll be here till they kick me out.
Oh, okay. Okay, everyone. So, well, I need to go back to my, stop sharing thing. Thank you so much, everyone. It was wonderful as usual. We all learned a lot again. So I would say, guys, till the next time. And thank you so much for being here. Love you all.
And thank you, Toni, for putting it all
Yes,
together.
thank
And
you.
thank you all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love y'all too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.